Hello, dear friends and net aspirants. Welcome back to High Point again. In this video, we are going to have some information about consumption. So, we were looking about various elements in the circuit of consumption. What are some concepts related to consumption and some terms related to consumption and how consumption is important in cultural studies. Okay. Now, in this video, we will particularly deal with the consumption, the concepts of consumption. And before that, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to it and also press the bell icon so that you get a notification when we do some activity in here, and also follow me on Instagram. If you are looking for some online courses for your paper 2 NTA UGC NET JRF English exam preparation, do visit my website www.highpoint.in. There, after having the free trial, you can see the study materials that we are providing, and if you are interested, join our family as a student. And also, if you want to know anything more related to the course that we are sharing there, you can use this WhatsApp number or use the Instagram platform to reach out to me. Let me know if you are interested and what are the impressions that you had after visiting my website. Okay, about consumption, let's have some points related to consumption. Now, consumption is not the simple acquisition of materials available in the market. It is the process through which these commodities acquire significance in social relations. See, we have already discussed these points in every other video that comes after lifestyle. From lifestyle onwards, we have discussed how consuming certain things will acquire you certain kind of values, symbolic values and significations that will bring you an identity. Consumption is not using something, some gadgets. Take the example of any dress items. Take the example of any gadgets. Take the example of any food items that you are consuming. Any materials. It is not simply that you are utilizing that materials that are available in the market, but along with that materials, some values are coming. Some symbolic meanings are coming, significations are coming to you. According to your consumption of these materials, you will acquire a kind of identity. Your identity will also bring about a lifestyle, or lifestyle you bring about an identity for you. So through this consumption of these commodities, that will we will acquire a kind of significance, a meaning in social relations. Consumption is the recreation of meaning through the use of particular objects. So consumption is this creation of meaning. From the point of view of cultural studies, consumption is not simply the usage of materials and utilization and acquisition of materials available in the market, but it is a creation of meaning through the use of particular objects. It converts commodities into signs that actually bear some kind of meaning, some kind of significations, some kind of symbolic meaning. Okay, so when you dress in a particular way, when you have a particular kind of food item, when you have a certain kind of gadgets with you, then you have a particular identity. Because these commodities, they are not simply the materials or commodities, they convert into a sign, and that has some significations. In order to study consumption, we need to look at the products themselves, but also processes through which the product are marketed and purchased. We need to look at the products, and also at the same time, along with that, we also look at what ways and what are the process in which the products marketing and purchasing involve. We need to also look at what is sold, where and how. In order to understand the signification associated to each commodity, we need to understand what is sold, where it is sold, and also how it is sold. Consumption is the acquisition and use of the object by appropriating the value systems and symbolic codes identified with the objects. Take the example of an advertisement related to clothes. Okay, Myntra or Amazon or any other brand of dress. So if a celebration, Indian celebration is coming up, Deepavali or something like that, then they will promote more ethnic wears. Okay, if winter season is coming, they will promote something more suitable to that season. If summer season is coming, then they'll promote that kind of. So they're actually appropriating the value system. What kind of values that the target consumers are identifying, you appropriate. As a seller, you will appropriate, or the sellers will appropriate, or the ad makers will appropriate and utilize, and more than utilize, we can say they'll appropriate the value system that the target audience, that target consumers will have, and the symbolic codes identified with the object, they will make use of this system, this code system and all. And that's how they are selling the object. They are not simply making the ads, they are not simply making the these ads and these consumption patterns and all, but they will do a research, the value systems, and they will use the cultural intermediaries by appropriating that value system there in order to promote the consumption of their product. Now, consumption begins well before the actual acquisition of the object or product. Consumption is not only about consuming the object, consuming the product, and using and utilizing the product that we have already discussed. Consumption as a process, it will begin way before the actual acquisition of the object or the product. The stages of consumption can roughly described as, so there are roughly 5 stages for consumption. The first stage is the conscious, subconscious or unconscious assimilation of symbols and meanings through the media's representation. So you will see an ad, or you see someone wearing this thing in the social media. Okay, so consciously, subconsciously and unconsciously resolve to, or you will assimilate those symbols associated to that product and the meanings associated to, and you subconsciously or unconsciously or consciously decided to have that items. The second stage is the creation of desire through this assimilation. So after assimilating these symbols, maybe the beauty that after wearing this dress got attracted by you, or you see the right occasion that you can simulate this representation, and in various way you got assimilated to that symbols, or the symbols and meanings are assimilated to your subconscious or unconscious and conscious levels of mind. And after this assimilation, what will have, this creation of desire will happen in the second stage. And the third stage, the search for the particular object. So in order to have that object, you will search in Amazon, you will search in Myntra or Flipkart. If you want to have an online purchase, you will contact the sellers. If it is a Instagram based selling, or you will search for the ways to in order to have that object. Once the desire is created, then the fourth stage is the purchase of product. There happens in the fourth stage only the consumption, the actual acquisition of the object happens. Then the fifth one is the use of the object. See, the actual consumption, the real consumption of the object happening in the fifth stage only. But before that, the consumption as a process, it has 4 more stages before the actual use of the object. Now, clearly the act of consumption is a complex one. So generally we feel that we buy something and we use it. It is not that linear, but the process of consumption, the act of consumption, buying and having the symbolic meaning and creating the meaning, it's a complex one. We can study consumption at the level of, we can study consumption in 2 levels. The first one is the product of consumption, brands sold, customer responses, actual sales of products, the packaging of products. So this is the product of consumption. So what are the products that we have out there in the market? That is the product of consumption, brands sold, what the brands available, the customer responses, actual sale of the product, the packaging of product. So these are the product of consumption, or these are the elements that we can in the product of consumption. Then spaces of consumption, the example, the mall, where you can get these products, or where you can consume the products, the malls. For example, the malls, so spaces of consumption. So in these 2 levels you can study consumption. In the later upcoming videos, we'll have the product of consumption as well as the spaces of consumption. We'll study about the mall and the various features and things associated to it. Now, that's all about the concept consumption. It is not rather simple but very easy to understand as well. And if you have any doubts, questions, queries, or suggestions, do mention all of them in the comment section. Do visit my website and also follow me on Instagram. If you want to know anything further, if you have any doubts, anything that we have discussed in here, any of the videos, you can use this number to reach out to me, or use the Instagram ID to reach out to me. Okay, meet you in the next video session. Until then, stay tuned to High Point and be happy, and strive for the best in your life, and meet you in the next video. Tata, bye bye, thank you.